We've all got our reasons for travelling, and it's never been easier to get around. There's places we want to go and there's things that we want to do. But it's not just all about us, because our holiday is someone else's home. Have a look at this. Travel is a luxury that we're lucky enough to be able to afford, and while you're away, it's very tempting to treat yourself. But how far is the money that we spend on holiday really going?
Essentially, most people don't want to be bad travellers. They don't want to have a negative impact, and it's so simple not to. If you concentrate on spending a lot of your money locally, put it into the local community, you're going to be happier that you're not having a bad impact, and the local people are going to be glad that you're there and they're going to want you there. It's easy to find locally owned guest houses, locally run restaurants, and you've got to think, be a bit more adventurous while you're out there. You don't want to be eating the same things you've eaten here. You can always have Coca-Cola when you're back in England. Why not try the local juice? And if somebody squeezed it locally, you know, you're going to give your money to him, it's going to benefit him directly.
You want blue?
I think blue.
You say blue?
This one? This one? Are they different?
This is the same price.
The same price? What's the price?
$100.
$100? Oh, too much.
You know more?
Haggling. We're not good at haggling, but it's part of the culture in a lot of countries. All you've got to bear in mind is do it with a smile, and just think that 20p difference, it's not going to be such a hassle to you to lose 20p.
Oh, it's very jolly. You're very jolly. You're very jolly. Oh, that's beautiful. I know how far I can get for 700 rupees, but how far is that going to get Tika, the taxi driver?
Yes, please. My name is Tika, and my wife's name is Gita, and he's my children. This is my shopping list. We're going now shopping. This is rice. This is packing shop. This is meat masala. Zira. This is toothpaste. This is broth. This one curry powder. Masala curry. This one dal.
726.
726.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's nothing worse when you're travelling than sticking out like a sore thumb. So wherever you go, it's worth taking the time to try and fit in. And I've been told that here on Ipanema Beach in Rio, just about anything goes. Of course, dress codes aren't the same everywhere, and here in Nepal, it couldn't be more different, especially in and around temples. Nepalis rarely expose themselves in public, even when taking a dip. If you go travelling with someone, and you're lucky enough to still be speaking to them, or you happen to pull while you're away, think about local etiquette. Holding hands can be a little too intimate in some places, while kissing in the street is practically having sex in public. To save your private moments for behind closed doors.
Take
taking photographs to me is a very good opportunity to meet people. I don't hide behind my camera. On the contrary, I use it to meet people. Whenever I take photographs of people in the street, people who don't know me, I always make sure they see me first thing. I'm not trying to hide myself. If people ask me what is it for, I say, oh, you know, I'm just traveling, and I thought you were looking lovely, or I like what you were just doing, or you looked like you had something in your mind which was interesting. Sometimes people ask me to send the photographs I've just taken of them, and I try not to do it because it's a very long process, and obviously I may forget. I never give money for photographs wherever I travel. If they can't have money from me, then they can have nice Polaroids. I tend to do that quite a lot. Give them a Polaroid, they can take that back home, and then it's nice for them to have as well. And hopefully it will surprise them, because most of the time they have an idea of what they want to look like, and they come across my view of themselves, and it makes a nice mixture.
Oh, you're married? From where? The Red Zao people of northern Vietnam, like many other ethnic minority groups here, are getting increasingly used to contact with tourists. With that comes a new attitude to trade, and also a traditional shyness in front of the lens, which is disappearing. Oh! Do I have to shave my eyebrows as well?
Imagine 60 or 80 people coming here to the Yorkshire Dales, night after night, setting up their tents on the village green, having their evening meal, throwing the tins and the litter about, and then going behind every boulder and crapping all over the place. That's what happens in the Himalaya, the Annapurna Sanctuary, every day throughout the season. The Annapurna Sanctuary especially used to be known as the shit trail. People would do their business along the trail, and you'd find it topped off with a piece of toilet paper, and then you could just follow a group by the colour of its toilet paper. It's very, very dangerous. All we need to do, follow a few guidelines. You choose a site about 100 yards away from habitation or from a water course. You dig a hole 9 inches wide, which is a good squatting width, 18 inches front to rear, and as deep as you can go. As the caller comes and does what he or she has to do, they take some soil, sprinkle it over what they've left behind, and it makes it a little less unsightly for the next person.
Philip?
With the build-up of the trekking industry, the villages have learned to diversify, and so they've provided coffee shops and guest houses. They bring in what they think the trekkers would like to eat, which is often canned food, bottled water, beer in glass bottles, this sort of thing. And of course, once the trekkers have moved on, that's left behind. And if the trekkers were to live on the local produce, then there wouldn't be this problem. One of the big problems is bottled water. The locals have discovered that that's a good market, and so they brought in bottled water, yak loads of bottled water into these guest houses, and they sell it to the trekkers. And then of course once the bottle's empty, the bottle's just discarded. So there are mountains of empty bottles along the trail. And there's no need for it, because everybody can treat their own water. The other thing of course is that things like plastic bags, batteries, tampons, contraceptives, if you've got to use these things, then get rid of them. Take nothing but water and leave nothing but footprints. Or some people say now, take nothing but photographs and leave nothing but footprints.
Vietnam has only opened itself up to tourism over the last few years. Already you can feel the difference. Anyone visiting Hanoi will receive a typically warm Vietnamese welcome and feel a thriving, bustling city atmosphere. But it's only 20% of Vietnam's 80 million people who actually live in the cities. To find out how the rest of the people live, you need to get out of town and into the countryside. So how do you do that?
Lonely Planet.
And the rough guide.
There's so many other travellers around with guidebooks that they tell you what's good and what's bad, and you kind of just follow your nose. But there are definite tourist trails through here, which most people do.
we have a few. Actually, I bought this one on the street. It's all photocopied. Anyway.
Well, I think people buy guidebooks for very simple reasons. Firstly, they want somewhere to sleep, they want to have listings for places to eat, and they want to know how to get in and out of the town easily. What I like guidebooks for, primarily, is the history and the the background politics, all the stuff that's kept the guidebook writer in the library for 6 months. You know, that they've distilled down from all their reading and experience of living in the country. That's what I like as well about guidebooks. They can tell you that. And that's the sort of stuff that's very hard to find out for yourself in a short time. I do get annoyed sometimes when I see people, particularly in India, with their noses stuck firmly in a guidebook to the detriment of reality. You see it loads. I mean, the classic scenario, and one that rickshaw drivers and hoteliers trot out all the time when they start complaining about guidebooks in India, is the tourist who's pointing to a figure in a book and saying, 20 rupees to the Taj Mahal, in here it says only 10 rupees. And they'll forget that the guidebook they're using was probably researched 2 years ago, that things have gone up. At some point you should put your bloody book away and talk to people, and because the things you find out from people are the things that will linger in the memory the longest. You learn much better from talking with local people about their lives than reading about it in proxy.
Everybody's flamenco here.
Right, so teach me the song. What do I have to sing?
Uma vez Flamengo, sempre Flamengo.